What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Hopefully you had a good weekend. Had a lot of fun here. As you can see, I did Father's Day. I got a pretty cool shirt from the little guy and everything. And overall, just kind of hung out and, went out to dinner and everything. It was a good day. If you missed it, though, we also took apart the Super Nintendo yesterday. Had some fun with that. It was educational, I guess, but it was also just fun to do it because we threw in some jokes and everything. It was a good time. Of course, we did the Spawncast Saturday night. That's available on SoundCloud now if you want to watch that. It was just a good weekend overall. Now we have some interesting stuff to get into today. A strange, mysterious countdown appeared in Fortnite for Tuesday, and now everyone's trying to figure out what it is and what's happening. It feels like Fortnite popped back up in the news ever since it showed up on the Switch. We'll be going over that. First, though, let's start with some smaller bits of news. Let's start with Madden 19. Now, we've talked about Madden 19 a bit because they showed TO on the cover of, I believe that's just like the Legends cover. I don't think that's their main cover. DualShockers was at E3 and talked to some of the higher-ups who are developing for it, for the senior producer and everything. They talked to him about the PC version. They talked about the timing wasn't quite there for it, and that's why now, after 10 years, it's finally shown back up. But they also made mention that the Switch version was never part of the conversation. They've never really talked about it. That's a little concerning, to be honest, that it's never really been a part of the conversation. Now, that could be because the Frostbite engine is still not on the Switch, and it seems like EA might be kind of dragging their feet when it comes to that, but honestly, EA was very turned off by the Wii U, and I think at this point it's Nintendo's job to go to them and get this figured out, since obviously they went to them and got FIFA on the system, which has done well. It's done well on the system, but it's definitely worth having EA games on this system. It'd be the first time really that it's portable since the Vita, and just in general, I think a lot of people would really latch onto that. But I think at this point, it's Nintendo's job to go get those games. You might not like EA, but you can't discount their library. We also heard that Steam is actually doing something to mildly curate their store. Their storefront has It's kind of a mess. It's a disaster, to be honest. If you look at Steam, there's 30 or 40 games come out every single day, and a lot of them are just junk filler games that are designed to be asset flips or just money grabs for things like achievements. See, Steam does have achievements, and what would you say to a game that's cheap enough, but it gives you, 10,000 achievements? Some people actually care enough to go buy that for a few dollars, and that's kind of an issue because there are tons of those. It's easy money, and it clogs up Steam badly. Well, over on Steam's message boards, they did address this and kind of talked about how they were going to fix this here. It's kind of something in reaction to what's happening on Steam, which they have a lot of work to do if they actually ever want to get that store under control, and I'm concerned it's probably never going to happen, to be honest. But what they're essentially going to do is, if there are these games that are essentially exploiting Steam's systems, which they actually make money on a lot of that stuff, like the cards you get and everything, they actually make money in the marketplace, probably a good chunk of money, to be honest. But the idea here is to have essentially a confidence metric, and it will go up and down, I guess, depending on the quality of the games and how they sell and everyone reacts to them and everything. That way it doesn't mess with their algorithm, and you don't show trash games to people who actually want to look at good games. So they're going to do things like a limit of 100 achievements. That sounds like a lot already, but again, some of them are 10,000 or so achievements. They won't contribute to the global achievement count, which is good because that kind of defeats the purpose of getting a game that does achievements if it doesn't really count technically. But yes, this is an issue. I was on there and I looked at a bundle, and it was really funny. It was 182,000 achievements. Yeah, these are the kind of games that are overshadowing indie developers that are actually trying to put a good game out. So, Steam, you got a long way to go with this thing, but I guess this is at least something. I mean, seriously, they've been doing nothing, so this is, I guess, something. Also, Shining Resonance Refrain got demos that's on the PS4, Xbox One, and the Nintendo Switch. If you search for the game, you can then get demo. It has an option there. You can download it, play it. I played through it. It's about half an hour long, so it's not super long, and it kind of gives you the idea of battle and visuals, which the visuals on the Switch actually look pretty good in both docked and handheld mode. It's an odd game. It's a JRPG, so they obviously take some liberties with the story and everything. There's a bit of a twist at the end of the demo, which was cool, but I didn't ever level up or anything, so I couldn't really tell how that would work. I guess it's just a standard leveling system and your stats rise. I did like the combat. The combat was fun, it was fluid, it was fast, and it felt good. So I'm liking what I'm seeing so far, and I'll probably be checking this one out when it releases. Next up, let's talk about the Tales of games, because, shocker, Bandai did decide to announce that there was a new Tales game. When is it coming out? I don't know. What systems is it for? I don't know. What's it called? I don't know. Tales of I don't know. No, they didn't really tell us anything. All they said was, hey, new Tales game. It's happening. And that was it. There appears to be a 10th anniversary coming up later in September. It's going to be September 16th. That's probably where they're going to show us more about this. If I had to take a guess for systems, I mean, let's be real. It's a Japanese style RPG. It's going to be on the systems that are well received in Japan, which are the PS4 and the Switch. So those two, obviously, I mean, we see Vesperia go into everything, so they don't seem to have any issues. That Bandai even was critical of themselves about how they did not jump on the Switch sooner, and investors were like, all right, we'll see what you can do. I think this is an obvious slam dunk for a Switch. PS4, the Xbox is the one, along with the PC, I guess, that I'm unsure of. I think the PC probably has a better chance than the Xbox, to be honest, but really they should just put on everything and take a shot. I will say they probably won't release it physically in Japan on the Xbox because there's not that many there, so why would you? We've seen games like Sonic Forces do the same thing. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the Tales series, Berseria was the last one and it was very well received. I mean, it was good. A lot of people liked it. If you look, a lot of places gave it like an 8.8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. It was generally a well-received game, and that was back in 2016. So people have been waiting for the next Tales game, and this looks to be it, and hopefully it's good. And I guess we'll find out in September, well, what it is exactly. Next up, let's talk about this interesting, mysterious countdown that was found in Fortnite. Specifically, it was found on the Switch version. There has been some talks about it being on other versions as well, although I haven't seen any video or picture evidence of that. Whereas we actually have evidence of it being on the Switch. Now, here's the Twitter post by Jeremy, and it shows clearly on the TV that there was a countdown timer that seems to be pointing to Tuesday from when this was posted. So it looks like something is happening. Now, since then, a few other people have said they've seen it, and I think there's another picture out there that shows it, but for the most part, it seems to have disappeared, as even I went looking for it and couldn't find it. It seemed to just be like a skull or a skeleton on the TV. But we're going to find out tomorrow what this is, because there are a lot of theories going around right now. Some people are saying that the map might change, especially if it was seen on other platforms as well. This might not be completely exclusive to the Switch. It still could be, but we've had the map change before, where we had like a meteor drop onto the map, and it took out an entire little section. It's a crater now. So it could be something like that. Maybe just a town gets obliterated, or there's people have been talking about there's a missile on the map that could be detonating at some point, and things like that. So more than likely, it could have to do with changing the map itself, and Epic's been pretty good about trying to change things up on this map and try to, I guess, bring story elements into it, or just things happening. There is also, I want to leave this door open. I don't think it's as possible. It could be something exclusive to the Switch. Some people are saying it could be an exclusive skin, an exclusive accessory, say like a Mario hat, or just, I guess, the Mario skin, although it's really weird to say that now out loud, a Mario skin. I think it would be cool if they put something Samus related in there, but then, like, for Metroid, but then it gets into the question of logistics, and can they make that work? Can Epic lock it down to just the Switch? Because obviously, you don't want that on anything else. You want it to specifically be on the Switch. And is that technically fair to all the versions, I guess? I mean, if they took it and they said, okay, we're going to give the Switch version, say, Samus's arm blaster helmet or something, and then they give the Microsoft people who are playing an ability to unlock the Master Chief helmet, and then they did something maybe Killzone related on the PlayStation, then they can start figuring this out. But I don't know if they would just give the Switch versions something exclusive. I do think this has more to do with all versions completely, because they're trying to do crossplay. Sony's just doing their thing over there, but they're at least trying to do something with crossplay and everything, make one big world. I think it'd be much more interesting after having played the game. I don't really like it that much, to be honest, but after playing it, I know why people like it a lot. I know why it's popular, and the Switch has kind of kicked it back up into the mainstream with the whole crossplay thing with PlayStation. I do think it'd be cool if they did something with the map, right? They changed a part, they obliterated a town or something. It'd be cool just because you'd have something new to strategize around. Maybe instead you want to drop into that crater for weapons or cover or something. Could be neat. But either way, we'll find out Tuesday if there was anything actually coming, because that's around when the countdown timer was going to end. In our last bit of news, let's talk about Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy that's coming to Nintendo Switch. Let's come to Xbox, PC, pretty much everything. They're putting it on everything. Activision said, you know what, that year exclusivity is up. It's going everywhere. That's cool. That's good to see, because that is a really cool collection, and I guess it'd be great for everyone to have it, whether you want to max the thing out on PC and get 60 frames, or you want to have it portably on the Switch, or maybe you just want the better looking version compared to the PlayStation version on the Xbox, or maybe just on the PlayStation. This is good for you, obviously, because everyone can play it. But interestingly enough, it sounds like the Switch version was not always on their radar, and this is very odd, to be honest. Now, this is from, of course, Vicarious Visions, who was porting it, and according to an interview that Nintendo World TV did, they talked to an unnamed engineer, essentially, and talked to them a bit about the history and how they ended up porting it and everything like that. And it sounds like they had the Xbox and PC in mind, but they actually didn't think it would run on the Switch. So what happened was an engineer decided, hey, I'm going to try to port it to the Switch because I like my Switch. So let's see if Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy will run on the system. Well, they put it over, they put the first level on it, and it ran. And it sounds like they were kind of surprised, but they went with it essentially. They said, yeah, let's port it to the Switch as well then. And it's all kind of adding up to a version of the game that will be downgraded slightly with graphics and everything. I'm sure there'll be full comparisons. From what the word is going around, the resolution actually might be the same, 1080p, and the frame rate's going to be the same as well, at 30 frames per second. And this is pretty cool to see that, because that means it's going to be, hopefully, we'll see, a very competent port of this game that will be portable or on your TV with the Switch. It's very odd that Activision didn't really have this game pegged for the Switch. It kind of makes you wonder about the Spyro collection. Maybe that was the same there. Maybe they thought, oh, it won't run on the Switch, we're not even going to try it. And it took an engineer, internal to Vicarious Visions, to actually try to push it over. So that's weird. That's so weird to me. I mean, it makes you wonder about some of the other companies, right? Like we just talked about EA at the start of the show. Maybe they're just like, it won't run, we're not going to try it. They might be thinking about the Frostbite engine right now, for example. Maybe they're really not trying to port it because they're like, it won't run. We're not going to try it, but it won't run. So it's very odd, but that means that if this one, I guess, engineer didn't try to move it over to the first level as a proof of concept, there might not be Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy on the Switch, and that's actually kind of weird to think about in the grand scheme of things. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for Newswave today. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit the like button. It really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave a bunch of comments down below about everything we talked about today, whether there's the Crash Insane Trilogy on the Nintendo Switch. It's going to be interesting to see how that sells, because originally they didn't think they could put it over there, and they weren't even really going to try until one person in the team decided to take a shot and then show it to everyone else, and they went with it, because if the Switch version is that hot, Vicarious Visions might be like, maybe we'll take another shot at another game. Maybe we can convince Activision to do something with Spyro if they haven't already, because we at least saw that page accidentally put out by Nintendo, so maybe that is already happening, but we haven't seen it officially yet, so we'll see about that. What about the Fortnite counter, the mysterious countdown timer that everyone's trying to theorize and figure out? Fortnite's hot, over 125 million downloads, so yes, a lot of people are talking about this thing just because it's that popular of a game. And again, the Switch seems to have kind of shoved it back into the spotlight. So I guess what can you do? Even if you don't like the game, you have to admit it's pretty popular. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.